Assalamu alaikum. Today I want to show you how I take care of my fruit trees. The couple of fruit trees that you're seeing right behind me are about 6 years old. The base of the plants were covered with weeds and grasses. So the first thing I've done is to remove any grasses and weeds from around the root zone. Now the way I've identified the root zone is by looking at the branches of each of the tree and identified how far they've traveled across. And the distance they've traveled across is an indication of how big of a root zone is. But now you have to remember that this is just a general guideline. The other thing you can do is just clear 1 meter of the ground from around the base of the tree. That will also work perfectly. So by removing the grasses and weeds, you are actually allowing the plants to take up more nutrients because there are more nutrients available for the plants to take up, right? They're not being used up by weeds or grasses. So that's the idea. Now, the fertilizer that I've used is sulfate of potash. So sulfate of potash actually contains soluble potassium. Although most of the garden soil is full of potassium, they are actually not accessible by plants because they're in insoluble format. So by providing soluble potassium, you're actually allowing the plants to take up nutrients as and when is needed throughout the growing season. The function of potassium is many. Some of the main one that the potassium is needed for is for root growth. So it helps the root growth of the plant. The other major function of potassium is that it is needed for the photosynthesis, so the process of creating energy from sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. Whenever there's photosynthesis going on, plants actually needs potassium to complete that process. The other major function of potassium is that it increases the immunity of the plants of the trees. One other major function of potassium is that it is needed to build cellulose. So whenever the plants needs to build cellulose, it actually needs potassium. Now, you want to be careful when you're using sulfate of potash around the base of your plant. You want to follow the manufacturer recommendation. So always check the package and before you start using it because it can be dangerous to the plant if you are not using the correct amount. So always make sure to check the label. So I've used about 35 grams of sulfate of potash per meter square. So roughly. Another fertilizer that I've used is called fish blood and bone. So this is a general organic fertilizer. So I basically just sprinkled probably about 150 grams for each of the plants around the root zone. And what it does is it contains not only potassium, it also contains nitrogen and phosphorus. So all three major macronutrients that the plants need. And I think the ratio of each of the compound is 393 for fish blood and bone. So what it means is that for every amount that contains 3 grams of nitrogen, you will actually contain 9 grams of phosphorus and 3 grams of potassium. With using the fish blood and bone, you don't actually have to be as careful as you need to be when you're using the sulfate of potash because fish blood and bone is organic fertilizer and it can be a little bit forgiving if you use too much. Now with the fertilizers added, I want to make sure that the fruits and are healed. Move away, move away, come on, come on. I want to make sure that the fruits that I get from the trees are pest-free and disease-free. So I'm going to use this winter wash solution that I bought from Amazon to kill any overwintering pest eggs such as aphid eggs. So winter tree wash actually kills any insect eggs by physical form. It's not it does not use a chemical method of killing the insect larvae. It is suitable for organic gardening because it's made of I believe plant materials and fish oil. So here you can see I've made 5 liter of the winter tree wash solution. So I've added, I'm going to sit a hill. So I've added 250 ml of the winter wash solution and diluted down into 5. Yes, yeah, I have a video. 5 liter of water total. Okay, now I'm going to fine spread this solution on the branches and bark of the tree, so hopefully to kill off any um, kill off any overwintering insect eggs. Hmm? Okay. My fruit trees are now taken care of. The last thing I want to do is to cover this bare soil around the base of the plant with some wood chips, and this will prevent any weeds from germinating and taking over the base of the plant like it did before. You will prevent moisture loss, therefore the soil around the base of the plant will retain moisture.